Okay, this video is meant to show you how to do string art circles. So how to rotate and move every point and every line in order to make circles with string art. So you want to start with a new sketch. Make sure when you get your sketch that it's not small like this, that you expand the window so that you can see the whole thing. Since we're doing circles, of course, we're going to do circles. We've got a few tools over here. The arrow tool is going to help you select anything, so you can select and move stuff. I have text there, so I can move that, but you can move points and stuff. You have a point tool, a circle tool. You have a segment tool that will also be a ray or a line. For now, we need a segment and your tool that allows you to name stuff. So we're going to start with a circle. I'm going to put it somewhere near the center of my page. And then I'm going to name my middle point A and my outside point B, and all I have to do is to click on them in order to name them. So they name them that way. If you want to rename them, you can double click on them and then a naming thing will come up. But that's what we want to do. Now these 2 points, A allows me to move the center of my circle, B allows me to resize my circle. So we're going to leave those 2 points alone and not rotate those. So I'm going to take another point and I'm going to put it somewhere on the circle. While this point is highlighted, I am going to change the color of it, and we'll change it to blue so that we can clearly see the difference between that one and B. We don't want to use B. Now we want to rotate this point around the circle. We don't want to just add random points because we want this point to be the same distance away from each other all the way around. If I double click on A, you can see that it bursts, and what that does is that makes it a center of rotation. So I take and I've highlighted this point. I can transform because it's rotations are a transformation, and I can rotate and I can pick how many degrees I want to rotate it. Whatever number you pick needs to be divisible by, into 360 degrees because you want it to go evenly around. So I can pick to rotate it 10 degrees in this case, and you can see that where it rotates to. If I rotate again, I can transform rotate, and I can do 10 degrees. Now this could take a really long time, so there is a trick. If you click on all of these points, there's 3 of them, I can transform rotate. You only see one pop up as an image, but that's because I did it 10 degrees. So this one landed on that one, and so on and so forth. If I have 3 points at 10 degrees, I want to go 30 degrees, and you can see now that they've all landed on the circle. If I click on all 6 of these points, I can transform rotate, and I can do it at 60 degrees. If I click on all 12 of these points now, I'm going to rotate at 120 degrees. And that should be enough where I do it twice and I get all the way around the circles. So I'm going to rotate one more time here and 120 degrees, and you can see that it made it all the way around the circle. Now remember this point B that you have that allows you to move the circle. We don't want that to be on top of one of these blue points. So keep it separate from those so that we can continue to move it. Now we are going to change the size of the circle by rescaling, that kind of stuff. You'll use this later on. Now if this is the size of your circle, you don't want to use 10 degrees. If your circle is fairly large, 10 degrees not a big deal. The reason being you are going to put nails in every single one of these points, and the nails get very close together if the points are too close together. So make sure you take that into consideration. Most of you will not use 10 degrees. Unless your circle is almost the entire page, don't use 10 degrees. So we're going to use that. Now we're going to connect segments. So I'm going to use the segment tool, and I'm going to connect from here over to here, and I can see that I skipped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I went to the 6th one. I can continue to connect from point to point, but you can see that this would take a really long time to make it all the way around the circle. So there is a trick. If I use the selection tool and I select all of these lines, you can see them all highlighted. If I select too far, you'll see the circles highlighted. I don't want to do that. I just want to select these lines, and I can rotate these. Now we rotate them just as much as we rotate our points. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, so I'm going to rotate them 60 degrees. And I can hit OK, and you can start to see this form. If I keep rotating, these ones are harder to select more, so I'd just stay with this. And keep rotating, you start to see an inner circle form, and that's what string art does, is it forms circles out of lines. So I continue to rotate this until I get all the way around the circle. I think I've got one more left to do there, and you can see that every point is connected twice because it's connected to one to its right and one to its left, and yes, I am done. So you can see that one. You can also, so this is a pretty wide circle, or a pretty tight one to the actual nails. You can skip more points, so I could go from here and come clear across here. Now I'm going to change the color of this so that I can see the difference. So feel free to change colors as you work through things. Let's pick pink. And I'm going to continue to go from one to the next. So again, I'm going on the right of this one, on the right of the far one. I could count how many I'm skipping or anything like that, and I can get a few of these put into place. Let's see how many I have done. Okay, 6 of them again, so then I can select all of these and I can transform, rotate, and you can start to see how this circle looks as we do this. So there's our rotation of those. So the further you skip across the circle, the closer in the circle is. Now, how close can you get to the middle? Well, you can actually take, and you can't go clear across the circle, you can't go through the center, but you can go one away from the center. Again, I'm going to color this line, we'll use black this time. And we can make a rotation. Yes, it will still make a circle in the middle. But you can start to see what's going to come up here. Let's do one more. Again, we're going to select these. You don't want to select that point, so you always have to select and make sure you don't. If you ever accidentally select something like that, you can unclick it too. So you can click or unclick to select stuff. So we're going to rotate again here, and just a bunch of times, and you can start to see that circle forming in the middle there. We hit every one of them, I believe we have. And so you see a very, oh no, we need to do this one more time. So I made a mistake. I just hit edit undo if you make a mistake. The other reason I did that is it's easier to select the lines again because it reselects them for you. So I made it all the way around. You can see that circle in the middle and how tight it is. Okay, so you have a choice of how you want to do it. You can always use multiple ones in here. You can always make yours look like this. When you're stringing it, of course, you want to string the one that's inside first, and then this one, and then that one, because otherwise the blue one will just be completely covered up by the rest of the stringing. So this is how you can string a circle. Again, we still have this point B that's over here. We have point A left alone to where I can move my circle. So if I wanted to do that, I could. And we can move everything around. The last thing that I want to show you about circles, because we're going to be talking about our figure being having a line of reflection or a point reflection or something, is if you want 2 circles, we can possibly take this entire circle. So I can select everything here, okay, and I'm going to unselect B, or I'm going to select B, but I'm going to double click on B, and what I can do is I can take and I can transform and I can reflect. Now it reflected it over a line, so we need to edit undo. So it's going to make me reflect over a line. So I can take and I can put a line in from B, and I can make it go however I want. But I connected it to B and connected up there. I can double click on that line. I can grab all of these points again. I don't need to reflect this line again, so I'm going to unselect that one. And I can transform, reflect, and you can see the exact same circle on the other side. So therefore you can have a figure that has a line of reflection in it, and then you can use this line as you build your drawing, and you make it, and you can, your page will always expand. So as you build your drawing, you can use this line of reflection to reflect everything else too. So that is one way to do it. You can still move everything with this case. Since B is there, I can move A, and you can see that both of them move. So that is how you are going to do string art with circles.